Hi, Twanna here. I'm your anxiety and career coach. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today some of the symptoms, if you will, about anxiety. Okay, and so anxiety is it's not really like a horrible thing. It's not really a bad thing. It's a protective thing. Okay, at some point in your life, if you lived, say, grew up in the country and out and there's a bunch of snakes, if you saw, say, a copperhead down the snake, you really don't need to be comfortable and go, what should I do now? I mean, the snake is like, a couple of inches from me. Should I run? Should I scream? Should I jump? Should I fight the snake? What should I do? I'm in danger right now, but let me take some time to figure out what I'm going to do. Absolutely not. That's what anxiety is for. The anxiety triggers chemical reactions in your body, and if you need to fight or you need to flight or run, okay, your body gets triggered up to do just that. That's what anxiety is for. The problem is this: for those of us that struggle with anxiety, we will go into fight or flight, and there's not really a danger. Okay, you can be laying in your bed at nighttime, getting ready to go to sleep. Oh God. What if the house burns down? And what am I gonna? And then the next thing you know, you have triggered your fight or flight mechanism. Your heart is all pumped up and you're ready to go and you're ready to fight. The house not burning down. You just had a thought that the house is burning down. Okay? And so that's the thing about anxiety. That's when it causes an issue, is when you're anxious, but there's not really a reason to be anxious. Your brain can't figure out the difference between danger. You're looking at a movie screen and you see those scary movies that scare you, or if there's a snake in your living room, your brain doesn't always figure out or filter out in which place you really should be anxious and you need to go into fight or flight. And so some of us end up living in fight or flight every day of our lives, 22, 23, sometimes 24 hours a day. We're actually living in fight or flight. The problem is we were only made to be in fight or flight for a short amount of time to get us out of danger. That's what the fight or flight mechanism is for. That's why it's not a bad thing. It's just that if you live in fight or flight 24/7, that's when it becomes bad. Because some of the symptoms of living 24/7 in fight or flight, you get hypertension, your blood pressure gets high, and it can be uncontrollable. For me, symptoms of anxiety, I get IBS symptoms. I can get diarrhea. I can get so nervous, I get diarrhea. Other times I can get so nervous, I just get nauseous and feel like I'm going to throw up. When I was younger, before I, learned to manage my anxiety, my hands would just shake and I couldn't, it was uncontrollable. They would just shake. I'm just trying to put them down somewhere because I don't want anybody to see how badly my hands are shaking. The other thing is I just break out in a sweat. It's like, oh my gosh. And I will have rivulets of sweat just literally running down. And so those are some symptoms of anxiety. Now, the hypertension, the heart attack thing, you're going to need to see a doctor to get that control. However, I wanted to share with you just some of those symptoms of anxiety and talk about how do you manage that. And so one of the things that you can do, one of the best things that you can do is breathing. Okay, the first time I heard that, I was like, I know how to breathe. What do you mean I need to learn how to breathe? I actually didn't know how to do the deep breathing that's necessary to relieve fight or flight. And so that's one of the things. And there are lots of different types of breathings out there. And I've done some Facebook Lives about the different types of breathing. There are some where you can count, because some of us can count the breath in and out, and it takes our mind off being anxious. Okay, and that's, it's a great side effect it is, you stop being anxious. But anytime you do breathing, the one thing that you want to do is you don't want it to be shallow. So you should not be, because that's going to deprive the brain of oxygen, cause you to kind of, hyperventilate and feel all dizzy in the head and everything. So that's not the kind of breathing we're talking about. We're talking about the full breath inside the diaphragm, where it fills the diaphragm up with fresh air and you get enough oxygen. 10 breaths or 2 minutes of deep breathing from the diaphragm you will trigger your vagus nerve, which helps to turn off your fight or flight mechanism. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. And I actually use breathing all the time. I've been doing it now for about 13 years, almost 14 years, and I can say it works. So whichever one you choose to use, whether you count down the, 5 seconds in, hold 5 seconds, out 5 seconds, hold 5 seconds, breathe in 5 seconds, hold 5 seconds, breathe out 5 seconds, hold 7 seconds, hold 5. That is called a box breathing. For some people, that counting back and forth and breathing in and breathing out and holding is just perfect for them. Other people are like, that doesn't work for me. And so the one that I like is they also call it a belly breathing, where you breathe deep in, fill up your diaphragm, and your belly kind of moves up because your diaphragm is full. And then I just take my time and slowly blow it out through my mouth. And for me, that really gets it. 10 breaths. And my anxiety, I turn my switch off, and I also use it for pain too. So it works for a number of things, okay? And so another way, when you're having the symptoms and you're dealing with anxiety, another technique is just grounding, and I do my grounding with some deep breathing too. And it's just, I'll look around whatever room I'm sitting in. I may count the towel on the ceiling, how many towels there are, how many lines there are. If there's towel on the floor, I may count the number of towels on the floor. If there are pictures in the room, how many pictures? I might look for everything red in that room. Basically, what you're doing is, you're still breathing, so you're getting that fresh oxygen in, but you're grounding yourself to your surroundings, because you just need to be focused where you are now, not where your brain thinks you're going to be or where that fear is. You want to be grounded and focused on the here and now, to be present where you are and to be mindful where you are. Another thing that I actually love to do, depending on where you are, this works, is I like to take my shoes off, and if there's carpet, rub my feet on that carpet. That works so well for grounding me. It's like a comfort thing as well, especially if you got some nice Berber carpet. Love it. But that's another thing that I do. It helps to ground me. It helps to relieve my anxiety so I can focus. And again, you can't necessarily rub your feet in the carpet everywhere if you don't have it. But if you do, try it. It works wonders. Okay, and so those are just some of the things. Now, a lot of people, the handshaking thing is like, oh my God, what do I do? And I say this, and I learned this one, find out a hand position that works for you. Okay, and so sometimes, you go to meetings, you see people do this with their hands, just tent. That's fine. Just do that. It works. If, they're shaking and you don't want to put them up here like this because they're still nervous, put them down in front of you and just do your fingertips, okay? You can also rub your fingertips together, and that helps as well to relieve anxiety and to ground you. And these are just some of the tools and techniques that you can use until you've done your breathing and manage your anxiety. But I will say this, whatever you choose, whichever symptoms or whichever way you choose, whichever tool you choose to manage your anxiety, do it for at least 2 to 3 weeks. It takes 2 to 3 weeks to make a habit, okay? But I do love this one because it gives you something to do with your hands, okay? And if you don't want to tent them because you're a little nervous, it's fine to do this. It works. You can do it up here. You can do it in your lap, under the table so nobody sees you. And you do all of those things because it's giving you control, As human beings, we tend to like to control our situation, and anxiety gives us the feeling that we're not in control. You're in fight or flight. Everything kind of looks like a mole. You're fearing things because you don't have control over it. So what you want to do is you control the things you can control. Again, you can control your breathing, right? You can control what you do with your hands, whether you tent up, whether you tent upside down, right side up. It's a tent, whether it's a tent under the table and you're there, whether you rub your fingertips together, you're there, whether you cross them up here in your lap, out of sight so nobody can see. Those are all things that you control. And it's, again, managing your stress and anxiety, that's what it's about, controlling the things that you can control. Like I said, even if you rub your feet on the floor, that's control. And number one, and I'll mention it again because I love rubbing my feet on soft carpet. It is so comforting to me. And it's just one of those ways I use to help diffuse my anxiety so that I calm down. And so I appreciate you watching today. And let me say this, is that if you're still, like I hear you talking, but I need a little help to build an anxiety plan so that I can move forward, you know, I have a link under here. You can click on it, set up a free session with me. It's about 45 minutes or so. And let's talk about a plan that's going to move you forward so that you can manage your anxiety and decrease your stress and live the best life that you can live. That's my truth. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.